Hi, welcome to another interview of Meet the Experts. My guest today is Carol Johnston from Mothers and Daughters United. Hi Carol.
Hi Valentina, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you, it's totally my pleasure. I love enticing people into my couch so I can hear all their healing secrets and share them with you. And so Carol, how did you become a Mothers and Daughters expert?
Well, that's a really good question. I'm a life coach, and basically what has happened, I got into empowerment and self-esteem, and something that I'm really passionate about, especially with women and young girls.
Yeah.
And in 2000,
very important.
Yeah, and in 2013 I actually wrote a program called Buds to Blossoms, and it was a workshop, and I worked with girls that are 10 to 16.
That's where I actually met Carol, if I can interrupt you.
Yes.
When I was running the Aloha Gallery, Carol came in and had a chat to me, and she ran her Buds to Blossoms in the gallery and sometimes in the yurt, which was really nice.
That was very special.
It's always so lovely to have the girls there, going inside, centering themselves, getting some genuine, healthy attention for who they are and where they are on their journey.
And what I found was happening when I was running these workshops was that I had mums coming to me and going, Carol, do you have something for us? Like, do you have something for me as a mother that can help me to empower my daughter?
Yeah.
And it was like,
to support the mums.
Yeah, and it kept happening all the time, and I actually resisted it for a little while. And then
we have our plan.
We have a plan, but then, you know, the universe has other plans for us.
Yeah.
And you get thrown into other things that you don't expect.
Yeah, and if you don't listen, then something comes to stop you.
Yeah, and then, you know, you could also miss an opportunity too. Yeah, so that kept happening. It was like, okay, I need to deal for them as mothers and their relationship, and the challenges that they were having, the things that they loved about being the mother of a daughter. Then I started to put it out a little bit further, so social media, asking the same questions, and I was actually inundated with pages and pages of email contact me from all over the world. That's how it got started. I did the series, the interviews, and I wrote the program, and Mothers and Daughters United.
And you can see that at caroljohnston.com.au.
I got started.
Do you actually have a daughter, Carol?
No, I don't. I actually am the mother of 2 sons, and I've had so many people say, how did you get into it?
How? What? Why?
But basically, as I said earlier, on my coaching journey, I was drawn to empowerment, and you know, the way of the world these days with girls and self-esteem and social media and magazines, there's so much pressure on young girls. I'm a confident woman, and I'm passionate about confidence, I'm passionate about self-esteem, and I just feel that it was something that I wanted to share.
And I think sometimes as a practitioner, it can be important to have just that one step of distance. You can actually be a little bit more effective if you're not actually bringing a girl up yourself.
I'm seeing it from a totally different perspective.
Yeah.
And what I've actually found is that the mums appreciate that third mothers and daughters, you know, being that same gender. You know, it does start there, because you're there going through or have gone through the same things that their daughters are now going through.
It's a lot of responsibility, isn't it, being a mother of a daughter?
Definitely. And, you know, also these days with the way social media is, and there's that pressure, I mean, especially with, you know, the girls that, you know, put photos up, and, you know, and that as a mother, the mothers that I have worked with, that is so scary for them. Through Mothers and Daughters United, we actually get the mums and daughters connecting and communicating on a completely different level to where they're at right now.
Connecting and communicating, that's pretty important for mums and daughters, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Why do you think that gets lost?
I think it gets lost because of all of the outside pressures.
Too busy.
Too busy. And again, going back to the gadgets and social media, as parents, we are sometimes guilty of doing that and being too busy. But another thing that I feel is really important, and I'm so passionate about, is presence. As a parent, being present in your child's life. You know, putting the phone down, putting the iPad down, put the computer away when they get home from school. You know, you don't want to miss an opportunity to have your child come to you and say, hey Mum, what do you think about this? Because if you're busy and you go there in a minute, that opportunity, it's gone. And then whatever that question was, that child might then go to their best friend's parent, or they might go to their best friend. But ideally, Mum's number one.
Mum's number one.
Mum's number one. That's something that we also cover when I run my workshop as well. And I do cover it. I actually run a free seminar around these issues, or every month. Fantastic! People are interested to just come and have a listen and find out about what I do and what I'm about.
Ask questions.
Ask questions for mums to bring their girls. As well.
And you bring your girl too. So it's including the daughters from the get-go. We were talking about the workbook that they get when they book in for the Mothers and Daughters Day. The mothers get to write how the relationship is at the moment.
So basically what happens is on day one, I work with the mums just by themselves. They have a workbook and they get to look at things like, what is their relationship with their daughter like right now? And we get to talk about that. They get to write it down, and having them do that exercise actually gets them really thinking about the things that they might want to improve on, or the things that they want to change. Then the next question after that is, how would you like it to be? And that puts them in that point of thinking about, well, you know, what's my ideal relationship with my daughter? What does it look like? What do I need to do to get there? And then there's 8 other topics that come through with that workbook. And then on the second day, which is usually about a week later, we bring the girls in as well. So the mums and daughters get to work together. And the girls have a workbook of their own. And we have the same questions.
The same workbook, but they've got one each?
It's very similar. The mums is a lot more intense because there are questions in there that are just for them and things that they might need to work through. The girls' book is a lighter version of their mums, and they can, when the girls are doing that exercise, the mums have already done it. So then the girls get to write down, well, what's my relationship with my mother like? And they get to think about it, and then they then have that opportunity to answer, well, how would you like it to look? What's, you know, on a perfect scenario, what do you think you would like it to look like? And then they get to write that down as well. And then they discuss it if they want to through both of the workshop days to share. So I find the mums are really quite vocal, and they want to share, and they all get in that group together because they're not alone, and their challenges are usually common denominators between everyone sitting in the workshop.
We all go through the same stuff.
No, they don't realise that until they actually get there. And then
that must be healing in it.
They don't always want to sort of air their baggage, so they can talk openly, freely in a safe environment where it's just going to stay here in this room today. It's not going to go anywhere else. The girls have the same opportunity, and if they don't want to share, that's perfectly fine. But I find that the part of the workshop that I love the most, where I get the most result and emotion, is when I have a mother and a daughter sitting opposite each other, and they're holding hands and they're looking into each other's eyes. I'm proud of you because.
Oh, beautiful.
I love you because.
What would you say for the mums out there that the 3 main things that you would like to get across to them to know is?
Number one, huge, is just presence. Like, be present for your children, always. We're all guilty of getting busy. We're all guilty of getting out the iPhone and the iPad and the whatever. And, you know, sitting there like this when our child is sitting there. You know, and they're probably doing exactly the same thing, but there's no verbal, there's no communication. So how about put things down and just talk? And if your child comes to you and says, Mum, I need to talk to you, stop
everything.
Whatever you're doing, like right now, just stop, because that moment can be gone. If you say, hang on sweetheart, I'll be there in a minute, whatever it was that was important to that child right there at that moment, in 10 minutes time, it might be gone. They might have had to have built up courage to go, okay, I need to talk to Mum about this, and have been maybe anxious about something. And if you dismiss that moment, you might not get another opportunity. That's right. So presence, number one. 2 is just communicate. You know, have those doors open all the time. Love your kids.
Love your kids.
Love your kids, regardless.
Feel the love.
Yeah,
regardless of anything. 3 principles. I'm very interested in how, as practitioners, we walk the talk. So how do you walk the talk for those 3 principles in your life at home and in your business?
Okay, well, I'm always around, I'm always available. Some of my clients actually just text me for something. I mean, I know a lot of people go, oh no, you can't do that, you've got to charge for this and charge for that. I don't. If people want to text me and they've got a challenge, I'm happy to have a little chat to them. In regard to my family, exactly the same thing, just what I said. You know, I set my hours of work around my family. You know, I have one child still in school, so when they're home, I'm home and I'm present. Even if I have a client who, you know, has an issue and they want to send me a quick email or even a text message, I'm usually pretty quick to get back to them.
Yes.
So, you know, I find that's important.
Yeah, and I know even though you have a whole range of products, some are home workbooks, some people can come to the free seminar, some are various different things. Even if they haven't brought an in-person product, they still get a bit of you, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Via Skype or telephone call.
Absolutely, because I mean, with the workshop, obviously I'm there. I'm with you, I'm there. For the mums that don't want to share their challenges in a workshop, I can also do private one-on-one coaching with them, so I can do that in their own home.
Oh, fantastic.
Or we could go find a nice cafe and sit in a corner. Well,
great.
And lots of email support. I also have a workbook, like a home study program.
Oh, wonderful.
For people who don't want anything structured, like the books are structured and they just work at their own pace.
Okay.
And when they need me, I'm there.
Wonderful. And I understand you do coffee consults.
I do. So the coffee consult basically is for someone who can't get to the free seminar. Again, they want to just have a quiet chat. The coffee consult is about just them having a little chat with me about what I do. And, you know, could that fit in? So could we have a good fit in regard to us working together?
And that's not charged. That's
it's coffee.
A cup of coffee.
It's a cup of coffee.
It's a cup of coffee.
You just buy a cup of coffee. I mean, the last 3 coffee consults I had coffee all for me, which was really nice.
Your favourite memories
of my workshops? I actually have one lady in particular that I remember, and she'll probably see this interview and go, oh. It was just a mum who felt she was broken and didn't feel that she was a good parent. She felt she was failing, and her word was her inadequacies. That was her her thing.
Yeah.
I have so many inadequacies. How can I be a good mother and not have my child suffer from my inadequacies?
Oh.
And that workshop was a huge breakthrough
for her accepting herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Realizing she's beautiful where she is.
Yeah. And there was another mum who said to me after the workshop, she was, "You've just made me realise I'm not a bad mother."
Wow.
And
That's very powerful.
that was powerful to me, because another mum who thought she wasn't doing a good job. But really they are. They're doing a great job. They just need to do things differently.
Yeah. And do you think it helps to get out of the home environment and come and do a workshop with you, because they get a bit of perspective as well?
Yeah, definitely. And by doing the workshop, or even just coming to the seminar, you're connecting with other mothers. So you're not alone, because there are so many mums out there that are going through this thing where they're like tearing their hair out. They don't know what to do. Yeah. There is help. You know, there is help out there. In 2013, I had an opportunity to become a published author.
Did you want to tell us about the story, the same story that you told to the kids at school?
Yeah, sure. I love motivational books. Big part of my life. And I was flicking through the internet looking at books one day, and I saw a series that I loved. The colours was what got me first.
Yeah.
And the series was called Adventures in Manifesting. So all different topics around the law of attraction, which is another thing that I love, which is, if you don't know about it, it's about thoughts becoming things, and what you dwell on is what you attract.
Yeah.
That's it in a very small nutshell. So I printed off a picture of these books and I stuck it on my vision board, because when you have goals, you've got to stick them on your wall so that you can focus on them to achieve them. And I stuck it on my wall only because of the colour, but also, wouldn't it have been nice to own that series? I thought, yeah, one day I'll order all of them. So it stayed there, and I also put it as a screenshot on my computer. So when I turned my computer on, that was the first thing I saw.
That was what you saw.
I saw these beautiful books. And a couple of months went by, and then one day I had an email from this beautiful woman called Sarah Prout, who writes these books. And I was really like, oh my gosh, what would she want? How did she find me? What is this about? And so she was telling me about her, and she said, I've been on your website and I've read your love letter. And I have a love letter to my perfect client on my website, which just tells you that I love you and how much I know where you're at. And she read the letter, and she just emailed me and she said, I read your love letter. You talk to me as a woman, but you talk to me as a mother. And then you reduced me to tears. And I love what you had to say, and I would love to offer you an opportunity to be part of our next series called Adventures in Manifesting Soulful Relationships. And that's what I'm all about, relationships. To cut a long story short, yes, I'm in a book now, so I'm a published author.
I've got the book, it's fantastic.
And a very exciting part of my journey of where I am.
And I know other people that really value the book as well. If you're interested, you can look on Carol's website to purchase that one. And what other strings do you have to your bow,
well,
Carol?
at the moment, can't say too much about this particular one, but I actually have got a book coming.
Oh,
my own.
Your own book.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that is around Mothers and Daughters. Mothers and Daughters United. The tagline is Mothers and Daughters United, be the change you want to see. So for me to facilitate that,
yeah,
I've decided to call myself the change maker.
Yeah.
Because I'm facilitating the change.
You're the change maker.
Yeah, that's just recently come about. Just with a few courses that I've been doing and, you know, just upskilling to,
yes,
you know, make me a better practitioner.
Yeah.
And, yeah, in this particular course we had to come up with a superhero name for ourselves. And the change maker for me was perfect because without me, those changes aren't going to happen. So it's important for me to be there and to light that path and hold their hands through the journey down there. I'll put a big hairy goal out there. I'd like to do mother and daughter retreats as an after, you know, a little way down the track.
Yes.
Just as a
knowing as I do, I'm going to ask you about the attitude of gratitude that you live and breathe, Carol.
The attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
it's important. I think there are so many people out there these days that are always whinging about the stuff that they don't have, or they're putting it out that the stuff that they want or the stuff that they need, and I think we forget about what we have. I mean, look out the window. You know, we have an ocean just down the road. You know, we live in a beautiful country. And to be able to teach our children to be grateful for everything that they have is really, really important. So an attitude of gratitude is about being thankful for those things that you have. I mean, my boys know that I have this ritual that happens during the day where I make sure I'm thankful at least 7 times a day. So I say thank you 7 times a day. Yeah. Sometimes if something really exciting happens, I'll give 3 or 4 thank yous, you know, all at the one time.
Yes, because it energetically changes your vibration and how you respond to the world around you when you feel yourself.
When you're having a grumpy day and you smile, and I mean sometimes it's really hard, but if you smile when you're grumpy and you make yourself smile, it really does change the way in here that you feel. Yes. But, you know, just gratitude is just really important, and I don't feel that you can ever move forward until you're grateful for where you are and what you have. So, yeah, and I just feel that there are so many people out there in the world that are just so focused on me, and not being grateful for everything else. More. Yeah, having an attitude of gratitude I think is crucial these days. Yeah,
but you've got so many things that you do. You were talking at a high school the other day and you spoke to them about the attitude of gratitude.
I did, I did. And
did they get it?
Yeah, they got it. They got it. 70 children in Year 9 and what amazing thing that happened was when I was talking to them about the measure of success. How do you know when you're successful? And, you know, I'm writing all these things that they were shouting out on the board, you know, and a lot of them were material, like, you know, the wealth and the cars and the big houses and all of that. And I had this one boy, I turned around and he goes, oh, I know. And I said, okay, what's your answer? And he said, aren't you successful when you're happy?
Yes.
You got it.
The funny thing is I had a client here 2 days after you did the talk. And her son was at that particular talk. And
really?
And she was talking about manifesting and I was thinking, oh, you need Carol's book. And then immediately she piped up and said, my son brought this book home from school for me.
The books I gave away.
Yeah. And he said to me,
oh my gosh,
Mum, did you know you can do anything you want?
Oh.
So he not only treasured the book and wanted his mum to have it, he said, I feel that you're going to really like this, Mum, and you can be anything you want to be, Mum. Did you know that?
He got it.
He got it. You know, Valentina, until I got that book, I didn't really get that it's all connected. Oh. Everything's connected. Everything we think, everything we feel, all our environment around us, it's all connected. It's not separate things that maybe have nothing to do with us. It's actually all connected. So you've had a big impact on that household. And you've been interviewed by American radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was doing a course, like an online course, and I met a girl who was doing exactly the same as me. So she was empowering young girls, and at that time, Mothers and Daughters wasn't around. Yeah. So it was just all about buds to blossoms. Yeah. And she said, you know, I'm running this course for young girls, but she said, but I've also got a radio station, a community radio, I'd love to interview you.
Wow.
So I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be interviewed on American radio.
How exciting.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So that was pretty nerve-wracking, and I was really scared.
And you write for a local magazine?
Yeah.
But tell us how that came about.
I had a mum come to the free seminar that I run.
Yeah.
And she was just really inspired. She walked away with a lot of gold, as she put it. I didn't know that she was doing this, but she actually wrote to Kids on the Coast magazine, which is an amazing magazine here. And she wrote to them and said, I was at this seminar, I met this lady, you need to ring her, you need to do a story on her. Yeah. And basically she wrote beautiful testimonial about all the things she learned on the night of the seminar. And they offered, you know, for me to write for them.
Oh, fantastic. And you're halfway through that,
I think I've done four articles for them.
Great.
Yeah, so the one that's coming out next is part 2 of an article called The Present in Your Presence.
Is there any other strings to your bow that we need to talk about?
I don't know.
Love talking?
Yeah. I'd love to do more. More talking.
More talking?
More talking to groups, and it's something that I really enjoy.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So putting that out to the world.